Hey guys, it's Jolene from Smith's Nature Friendly Farms. We are hanging out in the garden today on a beautiful fall day in October, and I thought we would talk about HOSS Tools Bule Gourds. All right guys, I am standing amongst the gourd growing tower in the garden today. So for those of you that know me, they know that I tend to grow quite a few gourds. We decorate them and sell them at the farmer's market, but we also just like growing weird and unusual things. So I have decided to try HOSS Tools Bule Gourds. So fun thing to grow, takes a really long time, but let's show you what it looks like. It hasn't been perfect. It does have some kind of rot going on, but overall there's been quite a few that are turning out just fine. So let's take a look. So this is the gourd trellis. This is an old swing set. When we purchased the property, there was a swing set on the property with no swings, and we thought, what are we going to do with this? So Jolene and her brilliant wisdom decides to turn it into a trellis. So I put some fencing material across both sides and essentially planted things towards the bottom. Now, first year I had this, nothing grew up it. I planted cucumbers, I think, at the bottom of it and a couple of gourds, and nothing seemed to take off. And then this year, this Bule gourd just did amazing. Now this is technically only 2 plants. So I'm really impressed with that in itself. This is totally and entirely these 2 plants down here. You can see the root systems coming in right there. There's another one over here. So, oh no, here it is. There's the other one. So it has done amazing for 2 plants. Now this gourd plant has white flowers, which honestly, the best pollinators I find for gourds, some of y'all are not going to like this, but the best pollinators for white flowers are hawk moss or sphinx moss, depending on which one it actually is. But basically your tomato hornworms, when they turn into their hawk moth form, that is the great pollinator of any white flowers, because they tend to be seen in the evening and they will move from white flower to white flower, and I find them often on these flowers. They do very well also with loofahs as well. So that's why I'm a big proponent of don't squish your caterpillars. They're so valuable. They create great pollinators. So here is one of the gourds. They're just wild. Oh, it's rained, so it has some water in the top that it's holding. I can't wait to see it dried. I think it'll be really cool dried. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. They're not going to make easy critters. I can't turn this into a chicken, but it's interesting. And you can see that there has been some issues with them, with some sort of fungus or something like that. And there's more up here. And then this one has fungus on that. That fungus is not an issue of the seed itself. There's nothing wrong with HOSS Tools seeds or whoever's seed that it created the seed itself. It's more than likely something in the environment that we've created. So we've done something wrong, maybe in the soil, not getting the right nutrients, or it got some bacterial fungus that's picked up. So it has nothing to do with the seed. But there are lots of them still coming in, and it's kind of funny how it picks and chooses what might make it. We also have one that's growing in an unusual spot, and it's growing on top of our muscadine vines. So not sure how or where it sprouted from. Perhaps maybe one that I thought didn't come to fruition when I seeded it and it started to grow from the compost or something like that. But it's a long ways away from the compost and it's taken over the vine. But let's look at it. So this is one that's taken off on top of the muscadine vine trellis. It likes growing along it. There is even one Bule gourd growing in here, and it's still growing all the way out into our fruit trees. So this is the HOSS Tools Bule Gourd, and a couple of tips with it. First off, you do definitely need a very long growing season. I'm pretty sure I seeded these in about May, and here we are mid-October, and they are still thriving. Now, I may have had one gourd about a month ago, but it really just started taking off about a month ago. So you do need a really long growing season. Soil wise, I have treated it like crap, except that I do have a good set of a good soil in the no-till garden. In our soil test, it had all the right nutrients, a little low on nitrogen, but had a great pH of 6.4. So it has a good growing condition. It's probably fueling itself from, but I have not provided any additional nutrients whatsoever. So, and that might be why some of my gourds are blackening. They didn't get the right nutrients. So who knows? I'm not saying that that's the best wisdom out there, but that's just how I grew them. I'll say it a few times over, I'm not a perfect grower. I tend to like to plant the hardy stuff or just see how things go, and sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. I don't necessarily have the time to baby every single plant in the garden. So, but this one has performed just fine for me as it is, and I'm super thrilled to have a couple of gourds, even a couple of bonus ones that we weren't expecting. Water-wise, tip-wise there, it's been rainwater, and that's our Mississippi rain, however we've had it. We had a very strong, heavy rain season in the beginning, and then we're getting into the very dry season, which is why I kind of feel like it's taken off a bit. And it survived our nighttime cooling temperatures of around 48 last night, so here it is still going. So hopefully I can pull through for a little bit while longer, get these gourds a little bit bigger, and or maybe even get a couple more extra gourds. So that's it for HOSS Tools Bule Gourds. It is a recommended gourd for those that like growing gourds. Certainly not edible that I know of, so I don't think I would be growing them for eating purposes, but they are fun to grow. Awesome, guys. Well, the usual, be friendly, be kind.